Hello, welcome to MLM.
This is Monday Logins with Michelle, not Monday Logins with Malat Lo.
So yeah, today we're going to talk about the current state of RTX, what graphics card you should be pairing for 1080p, 1440p and 4K gaming, as well as some of the settings that you can tweak to get the best performance out of your graphics card without sacrificing eye candy. RTX On! Phew! Gigabyte Malaysia is having a promo right now where you can buy a graphics card and get a free keyboard or mouse. Sekarang kan MCO, beli je lah. Korang tunggu apa lagi? As you guys can see, we're currently stuck at home during the restrictive movement order here in Malaysia, and no matter where you are in the world, social distancing is what you should be doing, and since you're probably running out of things to do, you should listen to me lah. It has been 1.5 years or 18 months since the RTX GPUs were first launched. TLDR, here are the features that are highlighted. Firstly, we have RTX real-time ray tracing, which is essentially real-time simulation of light and how it interacts with different objects in simulated environments, such as game world spaces, which brings realism to the next level and makes games more immersive than ever before. Then we have Dlss or Deep Learning Super sampling, which performs AI functions to solve issues like blurring and transparency along with temporal anti-aliasing or TAA. You can either make things look better by adding more samples or give you similar visuals to TAA at basically half the performance cost, bro. Although these new graphics cards were a huge step forward in terms of technology, early adopters such as myself were left hanging because game developers took some time to start adopting these new awesome groundbreaking features from RTX. When RTX was first revealed, we only had 11 games. Since then, we have almost doubled the amount at 22 games! But you know what, seriously though, I bought my RTX 2080 Ti specifically for Minecraft and Shadow of the Tomb Raider because Lara Croft is bae.
Oi!
No lah, you're still better because she also cannot cook. She every day jump here, jump there, like unemployed like that. So free, don't know what she's doing. Hashtag Lara Croft is bae. If you are like me, a hashtag bangsawan, and want to get in on that RTX On action, here are the cards that we recommend right now, okay? We have the RTX 2080 Super, the RTX 2070 Super, and the RTX 2060 Super because they're all super worth it. Wait, for what? Here are the specifications for these cards because this is not a video where we read off the specs chart because it's just boring. You own self read lah, huh? We'll be testing these cards with Battlefield 5 and Shadow of Tomb Raider, as well as show you some tweaks that you can do to get more FPS. Then we'll be testing the power of DLSS with Monster Hunter World.
At 1080p, we recommend that you go with the RTX 2060 Super. It should be able to handle most games at the highest or ultra settings without much issues. But if you want to optimize your FPS experience, for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we recommend that you first turn down the texture quality to high, keep the texture filtering to 16x anisotropic, ray trace shadow quality, turn it down to medium, depth of field and level of detail to normal, turn off screen space contact shadows as it makes a very little difference. And for pure hair, turn it down to low. You can also turn off bloom, lens flares and screen effects to save a couple more frames. For Battlefield 5, keep DX12 enabled, DXR enabled for RTX obviously. Also keep DLSS on. For high dynamic range, you can keep it at auto if your screen supports it. Set the frame rate limiter to as high as you can. Turn off vertical sync as it can kill a few frames, but keep it on if screen tearing affects you badly. Turn off GPU memory restriction, really important. For texture quality, keep it at ultra, texture filtering low, lighting quality high, effects quality medium, and keep post-process quality and mesh quality at ultra, terrain quality at high, undergrowth quality at low because it can really affect the frame rates. Finally, keep the DXR ray trace quality at medium and high fidelity objects amount at medium. And you're done. With these new settings, you're gonna get 43% more FPS for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. For Battlefield 5, you're gonna get 10% more FPS at 87 frames per second. I guess you could just leave it at ultra without much compromise. Moving up to 1440p, we recommend that you go with the RTX 2070 Super. Again, you shouldn't have much issues with most games at the highest/ultra settings, but you should check out these tweaks to get the best out of your graphics card. For Shadow of Tomb Raider, we recommend that you do this. For Battlefield 5, again, check this out. This will yield a 40% increase in FPS for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. For Battlefield 5, you'll get 30+% more FPS at 76 frames per second, so make sure that you try these changes. Finally, at 4K or 2160p, we recommend that you go with the RTX 2080 Super. At 4K, things get a little bit trickier. You should be able to play most games at the highest/ultra settings. But for some games, you're gonna have to make these changes for the optimal RTX gaming experience. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, again, these are the tweaks that you can make. For Battlefield 5, again, here are the settings. For Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you'll see a 42% increase in FPS to a very playable 54 FPS. In Battlefield 5, you'll see a 39% jump in FPS up to 67 frames per second. It seems that these tweaks will benefit you more the higher the resolution you go. Finally, let's test the power of DLSS with Monster Hunter World. Since DLSS only supports resolutions of 1440p and up for this game, for the RTX 2060 Super, we tested it at 1440p and the highest settings. We did the same with the RTX 2070 Super, and we switched it up for 4K for the RTX 2080 Super. And then, we turned on DLSS and this is what happened. Lo and behold, you will get a 37% improvement with the RTX 2060 Super at 1440p, a 43% increase in FPS with the RTX 2070 Super at 1440p, and a 45% jump in FPS for the RTX 2080 to a very playable 51 frames per second in 4K.
As you can see, no matter if you want to buy in on that RTX real-time ray tracing for that added oomph in realism, you'll still be able to benefit from that added FPS from DLSS. Here are the current prices for Gigabyte's gaming OC RTX graphics cards. The RTX 2060 Super is priced at 2,319 ringgit. The RTX 2070 Super is 2,859 ringgit. The RTX 2080 Super is a very affordable 3,969 ringgit. Sama don't buy? 69 bro. Well, that's all folks. If you thought this video is awesome, don't forget to like and share, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more content like this. Leave a comment down below to let us know, have you RTX on or off? And we'll see you in the next one. At twin! Very hard to throw this card up and... Ha! Good or not, my joke? Good right? Why are you not laughing?